U.S. and Iran ceasefire extension, 60 days, Trump's approval could change everything. A major diplomatic development is attracting global attention, as reports suggest that the United States and Iran have reached a preliminary understanding to extend their current ceasefire arrangement for another 60 days. Although discussions between both sides appear to have progressed positively, the agreement is reportedly awaiting final approval from former U.S. President Donald Trump. This development comes at a time when tensions in the Middle East continue to affect global politics, international trade, oil prices, military security, and diplomatic relations between major world powers. Experts believe that if the ceasefire extension is officially approved, it could temporarily reduce instability in the region and open the door for broader negotiations between Washington and Tehran. However, despite signs of progress, uncertainty still remains. Years of mistrust, sanctions, military incidents, and disagreements over Iran's nuclear program continue to create challenges for both countries. In this report, we will understand the background of the U.S. Iran conflict, the importance of the proposed 60-day ceasefire extension, Donald Trump's possible role in the decision, the impact on global oil markets, reactions from world leaders, and what could happen next. Background of the U.S. Iran conflict. The relationship between the United States and Iran has remained tense for several decades. The roots of this conflict go back to the Iranian Revolution of 1979, when Iran's monarchy was overthrown and replaced by an Islamic government led by Ayatollah Khomeini. Before the revolution, Iran was considered one of America's strongest allies in the Middle East. The United States supported Iran economically, politically, and militarily. However, after the revolution, relations changed dramatically. One of the biggest turning points came during the hostage crisis in 1979, when American embassy staff in Tehran were taken hostage for more than a year. Since then, diplomatic relations between the two countries have remained deeply strained. Over the years, several issues increased tensions between Washington and Tehran. These included Iran's nuclear program, economic sanctions imposed by the United States, military activities in the Middle East, proxy conflicts involving regional armed groups, concerns about oil shipping routes, cyber warfare and intelligence operations. Both countries have repeatedly accused each other of destabilizing the region. Iran's nuclear program and international concerns. One of the central issues in U.S.-Iran relations has been Iran's nuclear activities. Western countries, especially the United States, have long expressed concerns that Iran could develop nuclear weapons. Iran, however, has consistently denied such allegations and claims that its nuclear program is only for peaceful purposes such as electricity generation and scientific research. In 2015, a major international agreement known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or JCPOA, was signed between Iran and world powers including the United States, United Kingdom, France, Germany, Russia, and China. Under the agreement, Iran agreed to limit uranium enrichment. International inspectors were allowed access to nuclear facilities. Economic sanctions on Iran were eased. The deal was initially seen as a major diplomatic success. However, in 2018, Donald Trump withdrew the United States from the agreement, calling it insufficient and unfavorable to American interests. Following the withdrawal, the U.S. imposed strict economic sanctions on Iran once again. Iran later reduced compliance with several conditions of the agreement, leading to renewed international tensions. Rising military tensions in the Middle East. After the collapse of the nuclear agreement, tensions between the United States and Iran escalated sharply. Several incidents increased fears of direct military confrontation. Attacks on oil tankers in the Gulf region. Drone strikes. Missile attacks on military bases. Clashes involving proxy groups. Cybersecurity operations. Naval confrontations. One of the most significant moments occurred in January 2020, when Iranian General Qasem Soleimani was killed in a U.S. drone strike ordered by Donald Trump. Iran described the strike as an act of aggression and responded with missile attacks targeting American military positions in Iraq. The incident pushed both countries dangerously close to open war. Since then, diplomatic efforts have continued intermittently to reduce tensions and prevent a larger regional conflict.